Hello, gents. When a Sigma male is done playing nice, he's not becoming cold, he's becoming clear. If you're watching this, you might be a Sigma male or someone who's spent enough time around one to understand how this shift happens. The truth is, Sigma males don't waste their energy on games or false pleasantries. They've been there, done that, and now they've learned the hard way that their energy and time are precious. They've learned that being too kind can lead to being taken for granted. So when they're done playing nice, it's not about turning into someone else. It's about shedding the parts of them that were never fully appreciated. This isn't a story of a person suddenly becoming hard or unapproachable. It's about a Sigma male reclaiming his space and his power. It's about recognizing the need to protect their peace and focus on what truly matters. If you identify with this, if you've been at the point where being nice no longer serves you, then this video is for you. Stay tuned, because what happens next is something that will change the way you see your own worth and your boundaries. If you're ready to embrace the Sigma male mindset, keep watching. Let's get started, gents. Number 1. His goodwill becomes scarce and expensive. When a Sigma male is done playing nice, his goodwill becomes something valuable, almost like a currency that's no longer freely handed out. He stops being the person who gives his time, energy, or kindness without a second thought. Instead, he places a high cost on his attention, and it's something that's earned, not expected. The more people try to take advantage of him, the higher the price for any interaction with him. He's learned through experience that his energy is finite, and it's no longer something he's willing to distribute without consideration. If you want access to his time or his support, you'll have to prove you're worthy of it. This isn't a quick or easy process. He's not handing out favors or indulging in superficial interactions anymore. His goodwill is only given to those who show up with sincerity, with real effort, and with respect for his boundaries. People will start to realize that being in his orbit is a privilege, not a right. Those who once took him for granted will now find themselves scrambling, trying to earn the space they once had so easily. But the cost doesn't go down with repeated attempts to win his favor. It only increases. The more they try to manipulate or misuse his kindness, the less likely they are to receive it again. This shift in his approach isn't about being cold or heartless. It's about protecting his energy, ensuring that anyone who enters his life does so with respect for who he is and what he values. His goodwill is scarce, and that scarcity makes it all the more precious. Number 2. He masters the art of saying no without guilt. When a Sigma male is done playing nice, the word no takes on an entirely new meaning. It's not just a refusal, it's a declaration of freedom. For years, he may have silently sacrificed his time, energy, and priorities to meet the expectations of others. But once he's reached his breaking point, he sheds that burden with unapologetic clarity. His no isn't rude or aggressive, it's firm, direct, and completely guilt-free. This shift can be jarring to those who've grown used to his quiet compliance. They might try to guilt-trip him, manipulate him, or appeal to the version of him that once bent over backward to keep the peace. But the Sigma male doesn't falter. He understands now that saying yes when he really means no is a betrayal of himself. And self-betrayal is a price he's no longer willing to pay. What makes his no so powerful is that it's grounded in authenticity. It doesn't come from a place of malice or arrogance, but from a deep understanding of his own boundaries. He's not rejecting people out of spite. He's rejecting obligations that don't align with his values. This is how he reclaims his autonomy and ensures that every decision he makes is one he can stand behind. For the Sigma male, this is more than just a change in language, it's a change in mindset. He no longer feels the need to justify or explain his refusals. A simple no is enough, and that confidence radiates. It signals to the world that he values himself, his time, and his energy too much to waste them on anything that doesn't serve his purpose or align with who he truly is. Thank you for being part of Gents Grove community. You are valued. At number 3, he stops explaining himself. When a Sigma male is done playing nice, one of the first things he abandons is the need to explain himself. He no longer feels obligated to justify his choices, defend his boundaries, or offer clarity to people who've misunderstood or underestimated him. This isn't arrogance. It's efficiency. He's realized that most explanations are either a waste of energy or a futile attempt to satisfy people who are already committed to misunderstanding him. Instead, he lets his actions do the talking. If he walks away from a situation, it's because it no longer serves him. If he sets a boundary, it's because it protects his peace. No debate, no back and forth, no lengthy monologues about why he's doing what he's doing. Those who genuinely care about him will see his intentions clearly without needing a roadmap. Those who don't, they were never going to accept his truth in the first place. This silence isn't passivity, it's power. By refusing to explain himself, the Sigma male shifts the focus. He's no longer trying to convince others to see things his way. Instead, he moves forward on his terms, leaving others to process his decisions however they choose. This approach leaves no room for manipulation or argument, as there's nothing to argue against. It's a mindset of self-respect. The Sigma male knows that explaining himself to people who thrive on judgment or conflict only drags him into their chaos. He chooses clarity over chaos, action over words. And in doing so, he sends a powerful message. His life, his choices, and his peace are not up for negotiation. Number 4. He becomes a mirror. When pushed too far, the Sigma male doesn't lash out, argue, or retaliate in the traditional sense. Instead, he becomes a mirror, reflecting the behavior of others with chilling accuracy. This isn't about pettiness or revenge. It's a calculated move, a way to hold a person accountable without wasting his energy on direct confrontation. By showing people exactly how they act, he forces them to face the parts of themselves they'd rather ignore. The brilliance of this tactic lies in its subtlety. If someone is manipulative, he'll respond with the same calculated indifference they showed, exposing how hollow their games really are. If someone is overly critical, he'll mirror that judgment back, making them feel the sting of their own words. He doesn't have to raise his voice or explain what he's doing. The discomfort they feel is enough to make them pause and reflect, even if they don't admit it out loud. What makes this approach so effective is that it's not fueled by malice or anger. The Sigma male isn't trying to hurt anyone. He's simply giving people a taste of their own medicine in the most understated way possible. It's his way of saying, if you don't like what you see, maybe you should rethink how you act. This tactic also protects his energy. Instead of engaging in draining arguments or explaining why their behavior is unacceptable, he lets their own actions do the talking. The mirror forces them to deal with their flaws and contradictions on their own terms. It's a powerful, disarming move that leaves no room for denial, and for those on the receiving end, it can be an uncomfortable but necessary wake-up call. Number 5. He redefines his priorities ruthlessly. When a Sigma male is done playing nice, he doesn't just walk away from people or situations. He completely recalibrates his life. His priorities, once flexible and accommodating, become ruthlessly focused. Anything that doesn't align with his goals, values, or personal growth is cut loose without hesitation. This isn't a slow, agonizing process. It's a clean, decisive shift that leaves no room for distractions or sentimental clinging. The Sigma male understands that energy is finite, and wasting it on things that no longer serve him is a form of self-sabotage. So he takes a hard look at everything, relationships, obligations, routines, and asks a simple but powerful question. Does this add value to my life? If the answer is no, it's gone. There's no room for guilt, second-guessing, or lingering attachments. This ruthless prioritization might seem cold to those who don't understand him, but for the Sigma male, it's about integrity. He's not discarding people or commitments out of spite. He's simply aligning his life with his true purpose. His time and energy are reserved for what genuinely matters, whether it's his personal growth, creative pursuits, or the rare relationships that offer mutual respect and support. This shift often catches others off guard. People who were used to his silent sacrifices or his willingness to accommodate are suddenly left wondering where they stand. But the Sigma male doesn't explain or apologize. His priorities are his own, and he owes no one an explanation for choosing himself. In this redefined framework, he thrives, unburdened, unbothered, and fully aligned with what truly matters. Number 6. His boundaries go from invisible to concrete walls. When a Sigma male decides he's done playing nice, his boundaries shift from something subtle and unspoken to unyielding concrete walls. He stops tolerating the gray areas, the people who test limits, or the relationships that drain his energy. His boundaries become a clear and undeniable part of his existence, and crossing them isn't something you do by mistake. It's something you do at your own risk. The Sigma male doesn't waste time explaining or negotiating his limits anymore. He's already made them known through his actions, and if you push, you'll quickly learn just how solid they are. What once might have been a gentle no or an unspoken hint now turns into a firm, unmovable line. He will make it clear that your time with him is a privilege, not something he's obligated to give. If you overstep, he doesn't hesitate to show you the consequences. He doesn't engage in long discussions or offer second chances. He simply disappears, whether it's from a conversation, a relationship, or an interaction. His absence speaks louder than any argument could. For the Sigma male, there's no room for manipulation, no room for lingering negativity, and certainly no room for anyone who refuses to respect his space. To those who are accustomed to his previous willingness to bend, this can feel like a shock. But for the Sigma male, it's a necessary evolution. His time, energy, and peace are now protected with an impenetrable defense. If you can't respect that, you're gone. Simple as that. And in doing so, he reasserts control over his life and ensures that only those who value him truly have a place in it. Number 7. He puts you to the ultimate test. When the Sigma male is done playing nice, he quietly shifts into testing mode, scrutinizing everyone around him. The tolerance he once showed is replaced with a series of subtle challenges, designed not for confrontation, but for revealing truth. He starts to test loyalty, character, and integrity, often through subtle manipulations or carefully planned situations that force people to show who they really are. The people who took his kindness for granted will suddenly find themselves facing unexpected trials. These tests aren't overt, they're quiet, almost imperceptible. A change in behavior here, a shift in expectation there. The Sigma male watches how people react to these small, strategic shifts. Will they rise to meet his new standard, or will they crumble under pressure? Will they show up as true allies, or will their intentions reveal themselves as self-serving? What people fail to realize is that these aren't random challenges. They are deliberate, designed to weed out those who don't truly belong in his circle. Those who remain are the ones who prove they understand his value and respect his boundaries. The rest? They fade away naturally, as they reveal themselves to be unworthy of his time or loyalty. For the Sigma male, these tests aren't about manipulation. They're about ensuring that the people in his life are genuine, capable of loyalty, and worthy of his energy. Those who make it through are the ones who truly earn his trust. But those who fail, they're quickly discarded without regret. Number 8. He withdraws his energy, and you feel it immediately. A Sigma male's energy isn't loud or flashy, but it's potent, and people often don't realize how much they rely on it until it's no longer there. His presence fills a room without demanding attention, and his attention carries weight without needing validation. But when he's done playing nice, something shifts. He pulls back, and the absence is undeniable. Suddenly, interactions that once felt natural now seem forced. The easy flow of conversation is replaced with awkward pauses, like trying to swim in a pool after all the water's been drained. This withdrawal isn't a dramatic announcement or an obvious confrontation. It's quiet and deliberate. He doesn't need to explain why he's disengaged. His absence says everything. And for those who took his energy for granted, the loss hits hard. It's not just about him walking away. It's the realization that the connection was only as alive as the effort he poured into it. Without him, everything feels hollow. What's most unsettling about this withdrawal is how permanent it feels. A Sigma male doesn't play games or leave breadcrumbs. When he pulls his energy back, it's not a temporary pause, it's a final decision. Those on the receiving end might not understand it at first, but deep down they feel the void. That quiet, unshakable void is his way of saying, I'm done. Not with anger, but with clarity. What was once vibrant is now a memory, and those left behind are left to reflect on how they let something so valuable slip through their fingers. Number 9. People will start second-guessing everything they did around him. When a Sigma male is done playing nice, the dynamic shifts immediately, and people start second-guessing every interaction they've had with him. What once seemed like casual conversations or friendly gestures now feel loaded with uncertainty. A smile he once gave easily, now it's scrutinized for hidden meaning. A comment that was harmless yesterday, now it's analyzed for potential sarcasm or double meaning. The unpredictability of his behavior creates an undercurrent of tension. People who used to feel comfortable around him suddenly feel on edge, unsure of where they stand. The Sigma male no longer plays by the unspoken social rules people expect, and that uncertainty makes others nervous. There's no telling when he'll stop indulging the small talk, or when his seemingly neutral stance will transform into firm detachment. This isn't about playing games, it's about regaining control. He's not worried about reassuring others or maintaining the status quo anymore. He wants them to feel that sense of unpredictability. When people don't know where they stand with him, they're forced to reconsider their own behavior, recalibrate their expectations, and question whether they took him for granted. In this new phase, the Sigma male becomes a force to be reckoned with, not through overt aggression or confrontation, but through the simple power of his silent presence. When they realize he's done playing nice, the fear of making a wrong move becomes real, and that, in itself, is a lesson in boundaries, respect, and the quiet power of choosing when and how to show up. Now at number 10. He exposes the weaknesses of those around him. When a Sigma male is done playing nice, he shifts his focus inward, honing in on those who've taken his patience for granted. But rather than confront them head-on or escalate things with direct conflict, he uses his sharp observational skills to slowly and quietly expose their flaws. It's not about humiliation. It's about making them face their own weaknesses, often without them even realizing it. He's mastered the art of subtlety, and his sharp awareness of human behavior lets him see vulnerabilities that others might miss. He won't openly call someone out or embarrass them. Instead, he'll ask the pointed questions, make the casual remarks, or challenge their decisions in ways that make their insecurities and inconsistencies surface. They might not even recognize it at first, but every interaction with him starts to feel off, as if they're being held up to a mirror, seeing themselves in ways they're not comfortable with. This approach leaves others defensive, trying to rationalize or justify their behavior, but they can't quite pinpoint why they feel so uneasy around him. The Sigma male doesn't have to do anything overt. The discomfort they experience comes from their own flaws becoming apparent through his quiet disapproval. By exposing their weaknesses in this indirect way, the Sigma male forces people to confront parts of themselves they'd rather ignore. He doesn't need to make it obvious. He lets their own actions do the work. And while they may not always appreciate it, this method of quiet revelation is his way of asserting control and making sure those who've taken him for granted understand the true cost of doing so. In conclusion, when a Sigma male is done playing nice, it's not about being mean or spiteful. It's about reclaiming control over his life and energy. He's learned that giving too much of himself to people who don't appreciate it only leaves him drained and unfulfilled. He knows that his time, attention, and loyalty are valuable, and he won't waste them on anyone who isn't willing to meet him halfway. If you identify with the Sigma male shift, don't see it as a loss of kindness or softness. See it as a step toward living life on your terms. It's about recognizing your own worth and refusing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. Sigma males understand that real relationships are built on mutual respect, and they don't have time for anything that isn't genuine. The tests, the boundaries, the detachment, they aren't about creating distance. They're about making space for people who truly get them. You, as a Sigma male, are not meant to fit in with the crowd or live up to anyone else's expectations. Your strength lies in your authenticity, your self-reliance, and your unwavering commitment to your own growth. When you're done playing nice, you're not becoming someone else. You're simply becoming more of who you truly are. Embrace that power. and let those who respect it earn their place in your life. You deserve the space to grow, to thrive, and to choose who gets to be a part of your world. Thanks for watching, gents. God bless you.